Look at your neighbor and say, unexpected protection.
Unexpected protection.
Ask them, say, are you glad that you're protected? Look at your other neighbor and say, are you glad that you're protected? We'll give you a little context about where I'm going. I'm going to go to Numbers, the 22nd chapter, the 21st verse. That's what I'm talking about today. Numbers, the 22nd chapter, the 21st verse. Tell you what, let me start at the 7th verse first. And it says, they went to Balaam and delivered Balak's message to him. Stay here overnight, Balaam said. In the morning, I will tell you whatever the Lord directs me to say. So the officials from Moab stayed there with Balaam. Let me give you a little context before that. King Balak had told his messengers to go to Balaam, the prophet Balaam, and ask him to come and curse Israel. The King Balaam had told him to come and curse. King Balak had told Balaam to come and curse Israel. So Balak, when they got to Balaam, he told them, stay here and I will pray and I will seek God on what God says. So when we go on down to the 10th verse, Balaam said to God, Balak's son of Zippor, king of Moab, has sent me this message from Egypt. And they cover the face of the earth. Come and curse these people for me. Then perhaps I will be able to stand up to them and drive them from the land. But God told Balaam, do not go with them. You are not to curse these people, for they have been blessed. The next morning, Balaam got up and told Balak's officials, go home. The Lord will not let me go with you. So then King Balak, they went back and told him what Balaam had said, and he sent more people, but this time with a little more cloud. With a little more cloud. And they came and asked him the same thing. So then Balaam said, even if Balaam, they told Balaam, listen, if you come, he'll give you this, and he'll give you that, he'll give you riches, he'll give you all kind of things if you come and just curse Israel. Balaam said, even if Balak were to give me the palace filled with silver and gold, I will be powerless to do anything against the will of the Lord my God. But stay here. I want you to remember what I just said. He said, but stay here one more night and I will see if the Lord has anything else to say to me. So we go down to the 21st verse. After he prayed, God told him, said, listen, just go ahead and go with the men. Go ahead and go with them, but just do what I tell you to do and say what I tell you to say. Do what I tell you to do and say what I tell you to say. Just go ahead and go with them. So the next morning, and I want the 21st verse. So the next morning, Balaam got up, saddled his donkey, and started off with the Moab officials. But God was angry that Balaam was going. So he sent the angel of the Lord to stand in the road to block his way. As Balaam and two servants were riding along, Balaam's donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with a drawn sword in his hand. The donkey bolted off the road into the field, but Balaam beat it and turned it back onto the road.
Come on.
Then the angel of the Lord stood in a place where the road began to narrow between the two vineyard walls. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, he tried to squeeze by and crushed Balaam's foot against the wall. So Balaam beat the donkey again. Then the angel of the Lord moved further down the road and stood in a place too narrow for the donkey to get by at all. This time, when the donkey saw the angel, it laid down under Balaam. In a fit of rage, Balaam beat the animal again with his staff. Then the Lord gave the donkey the ability to talk. What have I done to you to deserve beatings? 3 times, it asked Balaam. You have made me look like a fool, Balaam shouted. If I had a sword with me, I would kill you. But I am the same donkey you have ridden all your life. The donkey answered, have I ever done anything like this before? Y'all follow me? Mm-hmm. Have I ever done anything like this before? Balaam admitted, no. Then the angel opened Balaam's eyes. Then the Lord opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the roadway with a drawn sword in his hand. Balaam bowed his head and fell face down on the ground before him. Why did you beat your donkey these 3 times? The angel of the Lord demanded. Look, I have come to block your way because you are stubbornly resisting me. 3 times the donkey saw me and shied away. Otherwise, I would have certainly killed you by now and spared the donkey. Then Balaam confessed to the angel of the Lord, I have sinned. I didn't realize you were standing in the road to block my way. I will return home if you are against me going. But the angel of the Lord told Balaam, go with the men, but say only what I tell you to say. Unexpected protection from a talking donkey. I don't know about y'all, but if a donkey started talking to me, something wrong. I don't know if I'm going to stay there. Well, here's what I want you to look at. I'm going to go back to the 18th verse. Even if Balak were to give me the palace filled with silver and gold, I would be powerless to do anything against the will of the Lord my God. But stay here 1 more night, and I will see if the Lord has anything else to say to me. So the reason why I went back to that verse is because right here is God's permissive will. God has a divine will, he has a permissive will. If you keep asking, he don't give you what you want. He's trying to protect you by not giving it to you. But if you insist on doing it, I will just let you go and do it. He had already told Balaam, do not go with these men. So Balaam said, the second time when they came, look, just stay 1 more night, and I'm going to see if the Lord has changed his mind. God don't change his mind. He's told you what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. Do exactly what he says do, the way he says do it. He's already told Balaam, do not go. So why are you questioning me again? Why you got to come back to me again? Because you know why? Balaam started looking at, they said they would give him the palace filled with silver and gold. Wow. Just like we would do today, we second guess ourselves. Now you know what God told you to do. God told you, do not apply for that job. He told you, don't go down there and try to get finance for that car. Lord have mercy. He told you, do not do that yet. I'm not saying no, but don't do it yet. But we go, Lord, listen, that car's so good. That job is just paying this and that. God says, okay, you know what? Go ahead. I told you to leave her alone. Don't go down there and cuss that woman out. But I'm so mad because she was talking about me. Don't go down there and mess with that stuff. I told you one time, don't do it. So guess what? In order for God to get Balaam's attention, he had to go through a donkey. The donkey got more sense than people. They're the animal that's supposed to be the most stubborn. But in this case, God was protecting Balaam from the angel with the sword. Can we see that sometimes when God stops things, he is protecting us? You wonder why the cars sometimes don't start on time. Guess what? God is protecting us. You wonder why sometimes there is a delay. God is protecting us. I remember when I was coming to Houston one time, man, I was rushing. I was just rushing. I said, man, I got to get here. Everything just looked like it was stopping me. It was traffic and here and that. And couldn't get out of Baton Rouge for nothing. Couldn't do. I'm saying, man, I gotta go because in my mind, I'm always a timely person. If I leave at this time, I'm gonna get here at this time. I've made up in my mind. I've mapped out times for everything. Traffic, accidents. Even if I have an accident, I'll still make it at this time, so I'll leave at this time. Right? If I had left at the time that I wanted to leave, there was a bad 18-wheeler that had exploded on I-10. So the calculation in my mind that I did, I would have been involved in that accident. And I called my mom and I began to cry because I said, thank you, God, that you spared me. From the length I was back to where the accident was, I said, you spared me. Unexpected protection comes in different ways. Here it came through a donkey. It might come through your car. It might come through your child. It might even come through something wasted in the house. You got to clean it up right quick. It might even come with. I remember one time I was leaving. I was getting off work at Southern University. I was in my police unit, and those that know Southern University, we call it the hump. So as I'm coming over the hump, I'm at the red light, and my unit, it turned green. The light turned green, and I pressed the gas, and I was ready to go. The car did this. And I'm saying, oh my God, but at the same time, 18-wheeler flew through the red light. Tell me God ain't real.
Amen.
Unexpected protection. So let's look at something. God's permissive will allow Balaam to go ahead and do it. Just like he did the children of Israel. They kept telling him, I want a king. We want a king we can see like the other nations. We want this, we want that. And God is telling them, listen, if you get a king, he's going to put bands around your neck. He's going to put you in bondage. He's going to do this, blah, 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 blah. I want to be your king. Just let me do this for you. No. We want to be like the other nations. We want a king we can see. And that's exactly what happened. They saw him, but they also saw him in bondage. They were in bondage. So his permissive will sometimes, if we keep on asking, and you know us as people, listen, we got a way of making things sound so good. When we go shopping sometimes, I don't know if y'all ever did this because y'all saved, so I don't know if y'all ever did it. I walk in a store, I love tools, so I go to Harbor Freight. So I walk in and I see every tool that I ever wanted. And I say, man, I can use that tool. And in my mind, I can formulate why I need that tool. Why I need it. Because I can do this. But then when I buy it, I leave it at home. I just leave it there. And do nothing with it. So that's how God is. Sometimes he protects us from ourselves. Right. When we want to buy something, when we really want something, man, our minds are so vivid, we can think of everything. We can put some pretty clothes on it. We can do whatever, because see, I really need that. And we're standing there reasoning with ourselves. I really need that because see, if I get it, I can do this. Man, I need that sprayer because see, I can spray this. I wanted a pressure washer so bad. You know what pressure wash is? In my garage. Backed up behind some more stuff. But I said I was going to pressure wash everything. But when I got out there pressure washing, I was wore out. And I only pull it out when I need it. So his permissive will allow us sometimes to just go ahead and get things. And then when it's over, when you say, you know what, I really didn't even need that. I could have used that money for something else. Yeah. Right? So let's go back to Balaam's mindset. Balaam left the door open for the people to question God's authority. Because God had already told Balaam, I don't want you going. So then when Balaam said, well, y'all go ahead and stay here another night, and I'm going to see if God will change his mind. Now everybody questioning God.
Right.
Making God look like he's not a consistent God. Look like he all over the place. Maybe he'll change his mind when he find out they're going to give me some riches. No. But his mindset made people start questioning God. How many times have we today did things and made other people question God? Is God really real? But then his mindset, he failed to recognize that something was wrong with that donkey. You'd have been with that donkey all this time, and he all of a sudden started acting up. Don't you see something in this? You have been with me. He said, man, I'm the same donkey you've been riding all these years. Don't you see something is wrong? Haven't I always taken you where you wanted to go? Man, it's an angel that's about to cut your head off. Listen, if that I wouldn't have had to wait. The angel wouldn't have had to open my eyes. I'd have just fell right there if the donkey started talking. Because that's God loves you enough to try to protect you through an animal. But what I loved about Balaam was that when God did open his eyes, Balaam conceded and said, I didn't know that you were standing there. I didn't know you were standing there. I should have listened to you. I should have listened to that donkey when he started acting. Let me tell y'all a story. I was in high school, and God, not God, my mama ain't God, but she close to it though, I'm gonna tell you that now. And I wanted to go to a basketball game. And I said, Mama said, no. She said, baby, you don't need to go. I said, well, I'm going. She said, listen, I've been praying. I don't think you need to go tonight. She said, God is telling me this, and all I can see is the fun that everybody about to have at the game. And I said, no, Mama, I'm going. Listen, baby, she sat me down on the couch. She said, you know, I don't usually do this, but I'm telling you, Mama's asking you not to go. And I said, well, Mama, I'm going. So my cousin pulled up while we were on the couch talking. He blew the horn. And I said, well, all right, Mama. I said, I'll talk to you when I get back. So when I got out of the door, almost to the car, she said, wait! You're leaving without prayer. She said, come on back. She got the oil and she was on her hands and she prayed. She told God to protect me. She said, I don't know why. She said, God, just protect him. Cover him with your blood. Whatever it is, God, just shield him from and protect him. Mama, you finished? Go ahead, baby. I got in the car. Everything going smooth at the game. High school winning. We all up in there getting up. Hollering, hollering, hollering. Well, the game got ready to end. I'm all the way at the end of the bleachers. All the way down at the other end of the gym. So the game get ready to end. I get my coat. I say, y'all ready? Yeah, we ready. Let's go. We walking down the bleachers. And all of a sudden I look up. Why is there so many people by the front door? And all of a sudden I see bats. I see knives. I see brooms. I see everything. So the closer I get, the more I hear people yelling. And then I saw somebody's hand go up. And when their hand went up, it was full of blood. The first thing I saw was a broom closet. And I dove into the broom closet. But when I come out, everybody was gone. Everybody was gone. So guess what? I had to call Mama. Mama. She said, where you at? I said, I'm at the school. I need a ride. Click. She hung up the phone. So my aunt was there. And my aunt took me to her house. And
I am at half capacity, Mr. Jackson.
and when I got there, see, we're trying to talk for a minute. So when I got there, I was nervous because of what I'd seen, and I was nervous to meet Mama. So when mama showed up, she just blew the horn. She didn't even get out of the car to speak to my aunt. She didn't do anything. So I know mama mad because she had to come. She had to drive 45 minutes to get to me. And when she got in the car, she was like this. And as a child does, I said, "Hey, mama." I said, "Hey, mama." She didn't say anything. She just went. I cried like a child does. But that was the best slap I ever received because I was happy to see my mama's face.
I know that's right.
I was happy that my mama prayed for me because ain't no telling what would have happened to me if she hadn't covered me.
Right.
Children, don't be upset when your parents cover you and tell you not to go somewhere. Husbands, sometimes our wives see things that we can't see. When they tell us, "I don't feel right about that," pay attention. Wives, sometimes God gives us insight into things where we can see further down the road than you can if we say, "Just hold off for a minute." Trust them when they tell you that. Because we hear from God too.
Amen.
Some of us are not male chauvinists to where we just want to boss you and say, "Don't go nowhere, don't move, don't do this." Sometimes, some of us, we do hear from God. And then, have you ever been in situations where when you didn't do it, when you didn't go cuss that boss out, you say, "Oh, Lord, I'm so happy I didn't go do that." Because it wasn't what you thought it was. The situation sometimes is not what we think it is. Guess what? That's God's protection to tell you, you can vent all day long to somebody in the house. Don't go out there messing with the people. Because sometimes the situation is not what it seems. Talking about a workplace. Sometimes God holds up the workplace because of us. And whoever an employer, if you're an employer in here, people online, if you're an employer, sometimes God holds places up because his children are there. What you talking about, Pastor? Well, think about Lot and Abraham. First of all, I want to tell you this. Be careful where you make yourself comfortable. Be careful. Because in in Genesis, when Lot and Abraham, they split because they had so much cattle and things. Abraham told Lot, said, "If you go left, I'm going to go right. It's not enough land for us to house our people, to house our everything we have. If you go left, I'm going to go right. If you go right, I'm going to go left." So Lot looked at everything over here close to Sodom and Gomorrah. I'm going to go over there because it looks beautiful. It looks very prosperous, so I'm going to go over here. He made himself comfortable close to something that was going to dictate his future. It got so bad, he got so comfortable that his children, everybody went into Sodom and Gomorrah. But guess what? When the angel came and told him we get ready to destroy the Sodom and Gomorrah, God protected Lot, even in his stupor. He said, "Abraham, go get him out. Go get him out of there. Is that your family?" Why did he do that? Because he had made a covenant with Abraham. Everybody, listen, go get him out of there and tell him to come on. Abraham says, "Listen, if we can find 50 people, will you spare the city?" God said, if you find 50 people in the city, I'll spare it. They went all the way down to 10 people. They couldn't find 10 righteous people in Sodom and Gomorrah. Wow. They couldn't find 10 righteous people in the city. And God got tired. He said, "Go tell them to come on out right now because I'm going to destroy the city." So they brought him out. Yes, he got saved when he came out. But let me tell you the repercussions of his decision of camping out to something too close that was so tainted. It affected his children. His daughter said, wow, they got together and said, it's no more men. We're young women and we want to have a baby. So it's no more men. So let's go and get our daddy drunk and let's go sleep with him. The effects of your decision. So one did it, and then the other one said, well, you got pregnant, so I want to get pregnant too. So they got him drunk again and slept with their dad. But all of that is a result of him camping out and being comfortable in the wrong place. The residue of Sodom and Gomorrah has rubbed off on your children. Be careful where you're comfortable. Because your comfortable ability could rub off on your children in a negative way. Our children are sponges, and everything that we do, they take it in. Everything. Start cussing and see what's going to happen. They're going to start cussing too. And guess what you're going to want to do? You're going to slap them in the face. Shut that up. But what? You're going to slap yourself? So we have to be careful of where we find comfortability. Have you ever been in a mess God had to deliver you out of that? You didn't expect him to do that. Some of you, you're looking at God saying, well, I just know I blew it. Like, I know this is my last time. Like, God, I had 9 lives. This is my last time. I've been there. I'm just sitting there waiting like, when the wind lightning coming. Something happen. But then God will say, I love you. And then he'll tell me, he'll say something like, when you gonna stop? He did that to me by myself. He would get me by myself. And he would talk to me. And that was the greatest but worst whooping I could ever get. Knowing I've done wrong, and then God will come say something sweet to me. I expected a whooping, but then he'll say, I love you. Lord, don't start this today. Or, you think you're going to stop? You think you're going to have to stop? Sometimes he has to protect us from ourselves.
Right.
Sometimes we're our own worst enemy. And I know TLC said, I'm my own best friend. Is that TLC said that? Okay.
Yeah.
Tell him about the TLC. Okay, look, he been listening to him. See that in his name? I'm just playing. So, say, sometimes I'm not my own best friend. I'm my own worst enemy sometimes. Sometimes we can do things that God has told us not to do it. But because I just want to feel good. Because I just want to hang. But because I just want to be cool. God told you we are peculiar people. We got to set a difference. We got to be different. We got to be peculiar. We have to, come on. You're not made to settle and fit in. But sometimes Christians find themselves fitting in. I often told this story about my cousin. We were going to another game. That's what we did in the country. We went to football games and basketball games. That's what we did, because that's really all we had to do. So we all stopped at the store. All of us going to get us a 40 ounce. Woo, 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 of St. Ives. And some of y'all don't even know what that is. That's a 40 malt liquor. And I just recently told my parents this story, maybe 4 years ago. And they still wanted to whoop me. So we were there. We went to the store, and I said, everybody, it was 4 of us. We all got our 40s. And my other cousin was riding with me. Neil was riding with me. And Lavelle and Lonzo was riding in the other car. So I got mine. I popped my top. I didn't drink. I just popped it just to pop it. So I put it in the car. And my cousin Lavelle said, Neil, go ride with Lonzo. He said, I'm going to ride with him. I said, okay. I said, come on, man. Come on, let's go. We get in the car. He grabbed my beer, poured it out. I said, what you doing? I said, man, just paid for that. What you talking about? He said, what are you doing? Because you don't have to do this to hang with us. Why are you drinking? You know you can't drink. He said, but most importantly, when I get ready to change, who I'm going to look up to?
Wow.
Y'all, I ain't bought a beer since. I ain't bought nothing. I would hang out, but I ain't buy nothing. I was like, man, you didn't get your something. I said, no, I ain't worried about it. I don't do that. That was an example, because ain't no telling. God protected me then, because ain't no telling what would happen if I'd have drank it. Man, I'm little. I ain't never drank. I would probably get drunk in 2 sips. And went down and crashed the car, and something could have happened. But guess what? He poured it out, and then he even poured his out. I said, cuz you don't have to do this to hang with us, man. To this day, he's a member of our church that's going to move here. And to this day, he says, cuz I needed you, and I didn't know how to tell you, but that's the only way I knew how to tell you, is that I needed you to be an example for me. Y'all ain't meant to fit in. You hear me? Stop trying to fit in with everybody. You are not meant to fit in. And after a while, when God returns, you're going to see why you were not meant to fit in. Everybody want to be cool. Everybody want to do this. Everybody want to do this. You are not meant to fit in. I'm sorry. And if God is trying to get you out, it's because he's trying to tell you, you ain't meant to fit in. So let's go back to Paul. In Corinthians, the 12th chapter, Paul said that he sought God 3 times because he had a thorn in his side. Not a physical thorn, but it was something in his life that was causing him problems. But God wanted him to stay close to him. What was the thorn? God had let an enemy come to him that constantly talked about Paul. But this was to keep Paul from being conceited. Paul was high-minded. But he said this thorn, he said, I asked God to remove this thorn out of my flesh 3 times, and God told me every time that my grace is sufficient for you. And say, in my weakness, my strength is made perfect. But he kept it there. He kept the thorn in Paul. He kept people talking about Paul to keep Paul humble. That's for protection. And Paul said, yeah, I can boast in a lot of things I did. He said, but I'm going to boast in my weakness. He said, God, this thorn in my side, it's caused a problem for me. I'm going to boast in my weakness. And that's wisdom, to boast in your weakness. How many of us got weaknesses we can boast about? So I want to tell you, and I'm almost finished. Don't take for granted the little things that God is trying to show you to protect you. It might be a phone call that stops you from getting on the road. It might be. It might be your spouse saying, baby, don't leave tonight. It could be the child. Maybe the child got sick a little bit. I can't go out tonight. It could be your car had a flat. You didn't even expect a flat, but the tire went down. Thank God. Whatever God uses to protect you, just thank him for it. Understand what I'm saying? Thank him for it. Point to yourself and I say, I shall not die.
I shall not die.
But I'm going to live.
But I'm gonna
I don't know
live.
why God just told me to tell you all to say that. Let's say it again. Stand to your feet and let's say this. Because it's somebody thinking you get ready to leave this earth, but God, the devil is a liar. Lay your hand on your chest. If you're watching online, I want you to lay your hand on your chest and just say, I shall not die.
Shall not die.
But I'm going to live.
But I'm gonna
I want you to say it like you mean it this time. I shall not die.
Shall not die.
I'm going to live.
I'm gonna live.
Declare it. I shall not die.
I shall not die.
But I'm going to live.
But I'm gonna live.
You just spoke life to yourself. Is anybody ready for a turnaround in your life?